considered easier for people who want to do a chartered accountancy?
Now, since you are focused on CA, just stick to it. After CA, anyways, you will do CPA.
Another important question coming up, so most asked is, how much can one expect to earn? Hello everybody, this is Sabiha from Simandhar Educations. Today we are doing something different for you. We have a lot of questions which are coming up from our students regarding the CPA program. So today I will be having a rapid fire question round with Shripal Jain, who would be answering most of the questions which are generally asked by our students. So here we have Shripal.
Hi Sabiha.
So sir, we'll start the rapid fire question round for you.
Yeah.
Okay, the first question being, after CMA US, can we do a CIMA because only one paper is to be given? And how is this combination going to help for the corporates?
Okay, firstly, thank you so much guys for watching this video. So I know the roles have been switched and Sabiha is doing the monitoring role and I am answering this. So straight away to the answer. So it doesn't make any sense to do CIMA and CMA together if you are CMA USA. So US CMA is like the US cost accountancy and CIMA is like a UK cost accountancy. Right? So both are cost accountancy only. So if I'm a US CMA, I don't need to do a CIMA. If I'm a CIMA, I don't need to do a US CMA. As simple as it is.
Okay. So I think that resolves the answer here. Going to the next one, is there a particular order to complete the CMA exams?
So typically US CMA is of two parts, part 1 and part 2. So there is no order as such, but typically we think that part 2 is a little easier than part 1. So I would say part 2 should be the first in order because it's lesser in content, and then we should do it with part 1.
Part 2 is recommended to go for first.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the best CPA exam prep course and why?
Okay. So this question can be a biased question because we ourselves are giving the training for the US CPA. So I would say Becker, so we are the official partners of Becker, and there's a reason for it because if you see the Wikipedia, almost half the CPAs in the world are passed through Becker itself. And Becker have been there in the market since almost 60 years now. So as we have the Indian Chartered Accountancy curriculum, a lot of the papers, what we see, they are repetitive questions in nature. Since Becker have been there since a longer period of time, they will be having a lot of questions from the past, and there are a lot of questions of 50 to 60 years of question bank are there. So there are high chances that the questions get repeated. So they already have that experience of those questions and all. So I would say Becker is a very good thing. Apart from that, additional support of the Simandhar classes, the live lectures, the faculties and all. I don't know if I'm a good faculty or not, but the other faculties are really good enough. And that combination is definitely a win-win for everyone. And then again, we have our placements and all also after our CPA prep course. After you pass, we have the placement facilities and all. So I would say Becker and Simandhar is good. Apart from that, if you want to ask me, like Glenn, Wiley and other publishers are also good.
Okay. Yeah, I think people do ask regarding other courses and other course materials. So, but Becker is worldwide renowned and it's majorly used. Okay, coming to the next, I'm currently pursuing a CA. So, what better would it be? Like, do we go for a CA with a CS or a CPA or a CFA?
So, typically, if you're doing CA, don't leave CA because and if you're pursuing CA, I would not recommend to do CPA or a CMA. There's a reason behind that because it kind of distracts you because you are focused on a one qualification, you don't want to move it. Having said that, if you have failed CA a couple of times or like almost 3-4 times, then it is a high time that you switch over and try to see for alternatives, get past that exam and again do the CA course. No one is going to stop you. But now since you are focused on CA, just stick to it. After CA, anyways, you will do CPA or CMA or whatever. But focus should be on CA first, not to go into various combinations like CFA and all. Depends entirely on your interest. If your focus is towards equity markets, then CFA plays a better role. If your focus is into accounting, then CPA plays a better role. If your focus is into financial planning and analysis, CMA plays a better role. I would say if you're a chartered accountant, you don't require a US CMA. I think US CPA does a good job there because CA already covers a lot of the management accounting concepts there. So you don't need to do again a US CMA course after a CA. And CFA or CPA would be an ideal choice if you're a chartered accountant and qualified. And considering the competition which is growing like anything, additional qualification will do no harm.
So another question which keeps coming up is that can Indian chartered accountants work in the US? Or is it better that they, still can work in the US without doing CPA?
CPA is not a must. So there are a lot of misconception that if you want to go to US and if you want to work in US, you need a CPA for it. you might still get a job with a CA, but the problem is you can't progress more because CPA is their prima facie qualification. So you can't work in a US company without their own qualification. So as and when you grow into a manager, senior manager level and all, the promotions won't come by if you're an Indian chartered accountant. Because if I want a mine manager or a senior manager or anyone for that matter in the finance role, I definitely want that they be a CPA because the credibility is more, the acceptance is more.
Correct.
Right? So getting the first job, you don't need to do a CPA or not, nor CPA is an entity to go to US. So these are 2-3 misconceptions which we wanted to clear.
Okay. And can we pursue the CPA course straight away after BCom graduation?
I think yes. So after BCom, you don't need to so you can sit for the CPA exam, but still you will get 90 credits only because CPA course is converted into, so 3 years of graduation is converted into, so every year of graduation is getting converted into 30 credits. 3 years will give you 90 credits, right? So with a 90 credit, you can sit for the CPA exam with an undertaking that you will meet the balance credits. Because typically for a CPA exam, you need 120 credits. So what are these credits? Your marks gets converted into certain number of units, known as credits, which are later getting evaluated from the foreign state board. So with a BCom, you can sit for the CPA exam, parallelly sign an undertaking, and then write the exam.
Okay. And does the US CPA conduct any exams in India, or does it have any plans, sir?
So there are talks that in India it will happen, but till now there is no clarity on that. So the US CPA exam happens only in Dubai and in US. Lately they have brought London and Europe also into that. So now the CPA exam can be written in Germany, Europe and all this, and in all the European countries and UK also. So they have brought this like in February only. These are the 3 countries where you can write your CPA exam.
Another important question coming up, so most asked is, how much can one expect to earn after they have finished a CPA or a CMA course?
Okay. Now this is a question where everyone is having a doubt, like how much can I earn? So earning has nothing to do with the qualification because it is all based on the skills. So if he's skilled enough, he might get 9.5 lakh. If he's not skilled enough, he might not get 5 lakhs also. Right? So CPA as a qualification, as a fresher, if you are asking me on average, should get around 7.5 to 8 lakhs per annum. And based on the skills, it can go up, but definitely not below that for sure for US CPA. And US CMA, I think it should start off with 5, 5.5, 4.5 to 5.5 is the band of US CMA.
Okay. So sir, can you tell us more about the entire cost of the CPA program?
Okay, the total cost of the CPA comes around like 4 lakh rupees because the exams is written in US and Dubai. The exam fees is almost around 1,80,000 plus evaluation, what we have spoken about the credit 15,000. So 1,95,000, almost 2 lakhs. Another lakh rupees for accommodation and all, and another 1 lakh additional is for the trainings and all. So it's almost come around 4.5 lakhs. So that is what we are looking for in US CPA exam.
Okay. And after BCom, should a person do MBA in finance from India? Is it mandatory, or does an Indian MBA have any value in the US even if they go for it?
Okay, so the question might be like, should I do an MBA and do a CPA?
Correct. Yeah.
So typically if you're doing an CPA, I would recommend that you do a master's because master's gives you 60 credits. So by default, your CA, Chartered Accountancy gives you 60 credits, your master's gives you 60 credits, any post-graduation in US gives you 60 credits. So why there is so much of stress? Because you need to get 150 in order to get the license, 120 to sit for the CPA exam. Right? So to get the license to practice, to open your own CPA firm, you need 150 credits. So master's gives you 60 credits. So, and your graduation gives you 90 credits. So I think it's a good deal to do an MBA in finance. And then I think masters are well recognized in US.
Correct, it's an added benefit. Okay. And is CPA considered easier for people who want to do a chartered accountancy?
Okay, so I think it's like who are chartered accountants, I mean who are already doing CA, for them the CPA is tougher or easier. So if I want to put it in this way, CPA easier or CA easier? I would say CPA is easier because CA is very much tougher in the content. They have a lot of volume, there are a lot of sections, almost like 20 papers are there, 19 papers are there in chartered accountancy. In CPA there are only 4 papers. It's a very easy exam when I compare to the Indian chartered accountancy, but the quality of the content is good. They test on the same parameters. It's a computerized exam, the flexibility is more. You can write the exam any month. In that way it becomes easy, not in terms of the preparation and all. In terms of depth, I think chartered accountancy goes little more in content and in depth rather than the CPA.
Okay.
So I think CPA is easier. But having said that, please don't be complacent. We see a lot of chartered accountants failing because of the complacency.
Correct. And coming to the eligibility, there's a lot of confusion around it. People keep wondering with the 120 and 150 credits, they get very confused and they want to know more about regarding the eligibility only for a CPA.
Okay, so what is the eligibility for CPA? As I said, I think this is a good question only because a lot of them wanted a detailed answer on this.
Correct.
So what happens, every year of your graduation gets converted into certain number of units. So your first year graduation gives you 30 credits, your second year graduation gives you 30 credits, your third year graduation gives you 30. So overall your BCom gives you 90 credits. But typically in US, it's a four-year graduation, so they get 120, so they directly sit for the CPA exam. Unlike India, which has only 90 credits. So the eligibility for CPA is 120 credits. So with a 90, you can still sit, but you can need to write an undertaking. If you're having a 90 and if you're a NAC A, you can still sit for the CPA exam. There is an exception to that. If you're a NAC accredited university, you get an additional 30 credits. So have a 120 credit and you can still sit for the CPA exam. Right? So strictly talking, the eligibility is that you should have a BCom with a good accredited university, and that's all. So is it an BCom, BBA, BSc, everyone? I'm telling bachelor's in any discipline is fine. Just you need to do, if it's other than accounting, you need to do some bridge course and you can still sit for the CPA exam.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. That ends the rapid fire round for us today. I hope this is going to be helpful for all the viewers here. Thank you so much.